What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, a lot different one. For all you Freddy vs. Jason fans out there, just know that it could have been a lot different, including a script that was written by Louis Abernathy, which is this guy from Titanic, which is just kind of a neat little fun fact. Back in 1987, he wrote a script called Nightmare 13, Freddy Meets Jason, which was one of the original concepts of like the 35 out there for Freddy vs. Jason. Ultimately, we obviously didn't get that script, but it was a pretty fun ride just to read through this thing, which, by the way, we did on a live read-through on our new show called Little Mad Podcast. So go check it out. Link in the description if you want to hear the entire script, roughly 3.5 hours to hear this whole thing. But I'll point out some of the highlights here and just what could have been. What could have been the Freddy vs. Jason that is Nightmare 13, Freddy Meets Jason. First of all, I think it's important to point out that this wasn't really a Freddy vs. Jason. It was really a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel that also included Jason. You're mainly following Freddy and this cult of creepy-ass teenagers who are worshiping Freddy and trying to find him new sacrifices with taking and abducting young children and using this drug to put people in this dream state, which is just a dream drug where they meet up with Freddy, and it basically allows them to communicate with Freddy and worship him and continue to give him power. So, like, long story short, it's just a pretty hectic cult that's worshiping Freddy and using a drug in order to go into this dream state and be with Freddy. It's probably one of the craziest highs ever, I'm assuming. But of course, the sibling of our main protagonist is taken and trying to be brought into this cult to be taken over by Freddy. And that's when things start to get pretty hectic, and that's when Jason kind of gets into the mix. In order to try to fight back against Freddy and take down this Freddy cult, which in this one is not called the Fredheads, that was developed on later. In order to get him, go into this dream world and take out Freddy, they want to bring back Jason, which, the way he's brought back, this is kind of where things, people probably start to get upset and wouldn't like this script. Otherwise, it's a pretty fun ride. They decide to take the heart of one of their killed off friends and place it into Jason and bring him back through this crazy curse, some like Chucky going into a body type of shit going on. The whole lake is electrocuted and then Jason rises again like Frankenstein with a new heart. But since it is the heart of our main protagonist's boyfriend, Jason also seems to have feelings now. And is really not Jason at all. He starts off being pretty badass and trying to go at these teenagers. But he quickly takes a turn. And he starts helping them. Now I'm talking to the point where he drives an ambulance all the way back to Springwood, Ohio to get involved and try to stop this Freddy cult. Like, Jason straight up drives an ambulance and is friendly with all these teens. So in this particular script, although this is 2003, that original movie that we got, Jason kind of was the one you were rooting for, it seemed, for the most part. It seems like Freddy was just manipulating him, so everybody kind of just rooted for Jason. In this manner, Jason just straight up is a good dude, and yeah, you probably root for him, but still, it doesn't feel like Jason at all, in the fact that it's a big-ass dude wearing a hockey mask. So, there's that. There's also a really, really cool scene where our whole main cast is moving away and trying to get back to the scene of Springwood, and they're being chased by the Freddy-mobile, which, this thing, seeing it on screen would have been the coolest thing ever. I mean, it was all decked out. Imagine like Nightmare 5 type of stuff going on with the motorcycle and things like that. Imagine like that type of crazy with the motorcycle, but decked out into a huge car with a whole bunch of stuff going on. Pretty wild. It's a scene that I definitely want to see come to life, and while we were reading it, I was like, man, like that actually is pretty amazing. Which this script has a lot of those moments where it's like, wow, that's actually really cool. But there's so many things that just probably wouldn't work. It's cartoony, to say the least. It's a cartoony script. And when I say cartoony, let me tell you about how cartoony this thing gets. The end, the final battle. Freddy and Jason are facing off. How does it happen? Does it happen at Springwood, Ohio? Maybe at 1428 Elm? They're facing off Freddy's house? Is it at Camp Crystal Lake, like the 2003 movie? And they're blowing shit up? No. It takes place in hell. And Ted Bundy is the commentator. And Ted Bundy gets shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. And Jason's wearing boxing gloves. And they're straight up fist fighting in a ring in hell. As all the evil people we know throughout the world watch them and cheer them on. I mean, that reading it, okay, like that's kind of fun. It's a comic book. That's what it felt like. You know, you're reading a comic book, and they got a boxing match between Freddy and Jason. Cool. If that would ever came to screen, I can only imagine the reactions, especially the reactions from critics. If there was Freddy and Jason in a boxing match, I can imagine just how much the critics would shit on that. Or maybe not. Maybe they like it because it's different and it's not trying to be scary. I don't know, but it's pretty wild. That whole scene is just pretty crazy, and they straight up go to town with it. What makes it even crazier is after that, the boxing match happens. There's no legitimate winner. Freddy's goal is to take over the cable news stations and spread this disease cult across the world. But he ends up shooting off to like a satellite in space, comes back in, and blows up the whole building, and ends up ultimately killing himself because Jason. Wild. A wild script. I'm telling you, you should go listen to the whole thing on our show, Little Mad Podcast. Again, link in the description. Needless to say, it's probably better that it went in the direction that the 2003 movie did. While that movie has a ton of flaws, it at least makes sense. And I think Freddy fans with Nightmare 13, Freddy meets Jason, I think Freddy fans would be pretty satisfied. And obviously Louis Abernathy was a Freddy fan because he got the character of Freddy down. I mean, it's a perfect Nightmare script. But when you look at Jason and how he incorporates Jason fans wouldn't be happy. I don't think Jason fans would be very happy at all. But regardless, it's a fun ride. You should go check it out further. But just know, the 2003... Actually, it's funny because all the scripts that are out there, because like I said, there's a ton of them. This is actually one of the better ones. So just know, the 2003 version, hate it, love it. It could have been a whole lot worse. And we'll talk about some of those in the future as well. But yeah, that's Nightmare 13, Freddy meets Jason. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you read the script? If you have, definitely let me know your thoughts. I'm curious if you enjoyed it. But that is going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you next time.